novice auction stakes. Very slowly away was Combination, has blown his chance at the start. Another slow starter was Killer Move. Shallow Hal, the favourite, away well though in the yellow and white colours. Usain Bolt in the orange jacket is alongside him. Then Rockshaw just being niggled along there in the two-tone blue. Up the inside is Miss Sabina. They're followed by Burnage Boy, a gap to Killer Move, an enormous gap back then to Combination as they make their way inside the final half mile. Usain Bolt and Shallow Hal, these two at the head of affairs, to Rockshaw the grey. 3 horses wide at the moment. Then Burnage Boy for Graham Lee seeking a double. Then up the inside Miss Sabina with a big white face. Then Killer Move and Combination is in a different part of West Yorkshire as they begin to make these swing for home here. Usain Bolt now driven along. Shallow Hal has had first run up the inside and still goes quite well, comes through to take it up, is now driven along but leads by half a length as they go inside the final quarter of a mile. So Usain Bolt in second, Miss Sabina, the big white face, there in third, ahead of Rockshaw in fourth. Down towards the final furlong and a half they come. Shallow Hal, a recent air scorer, is in front by a couple of lengths now to Usain Bolt. Miss Sabina, the filly, is trying to stay on, but inside the final furlong now. Shallow Hal just veering towards the centre of the track, has a 2-length advantage over Usain Bolt. Shallow Hal having to be straightened out here, but he's got enough in hand, I reckon. Inside the final 100 yards they go. Shallow Hal for odds-on punters in the second. Usain Bolt just about hanging on for second ahead of Miss Sabina, and then Burnage Boy was fourth.
Well, we heard from Simon Ridge of Onto a Winner, concerned that there wouldn't be any pace in that, and probably because the horse might like to be delivered a wee bit later, and tried to get out of it, Shallow Hal, didn't he? The son of Mason, veering right, markedly right, in the final furlong, but the penalty didn't stop him in this novices affair. He was strong last time out, strong here, but in his mind, he wasn't totally on the job, but he went forward fast enough. He's won by default really, because it was such a weak affair. Usain Bolt benefiting from this step back up in trip, has plugged on in second, but he's got a noseband and cheek pieces, so I don't think the first two are the most willing animals in the world, with all respect. Miss Sabina, a one-pace third. They went without just later in the end, having got Killer Move in. Killer Move was slowly away, as was Combination. Wide margin winner, but I think we might see some headgear or a gelding operation in the not too distant future.
Well, I think that might be a little unfair, Peter. I mean, I think this ground is probably a little quicker than is ideal for him, and you always wonder with horses like this, are they feeling something? But to be fair, he's got the job done, and he's won it well. You know, it was academic at the end, and yeah, admittedly he did sort of wander about in the closing stages, but you can't really diss them when they've won by that far, and there was never any question that he was going to win. Usain Bolt even has he's just lost his form a bit. I think that's probably a step back in the right direction, albeit this is a very weak affair. Miss Sabina, she's got a handicap mark now, and you know, I think actually the strap up to 6 furlongs has helped. So she was staying on nicely there at the end. She hasn't done anything quickly, but she's stuck to her guns and plugged on to keep that third place, and she looked a nice willing sort, and I'm sure there'll be more to come from her next year. As you say, it's a very moderate affair, and it's sort of exactly what we thought would happen.
Yeah, but here we go. Jockey's got his whip in his left hand here, Clifford Lee, and the horse was on the far rail and he's now heading towards the stands rail, so you would like to see a more direct path to the line, but at one straightened up, finds an extra gear and shows his superiority. At the back of the field, Cam Hardy was praying to St Jude, the patron saint of lost causes, still pushing away on that horse. Combination had been slowly away, but in the end having to ease in the home straight. But it was a weak affair and a straightforward win. It's another winner for the tally for Onto a Winner, and they were saying they were heading towards their best ever tally. I think that's just about done it for them now.
Yeah, absolutely, and this horse has a horses in training entry, so it'd be interesting to see if he turns up there next week. And he is the sort of horse, as you say, he's still an end tire, you could castrate him. There are ways where you might move him forward again, so he's quite an interesting horse.
Oh yeah, be an interest. He'll have a bit of interest at the sales, won't he?
I would think so. He's a nice looking horse. He's just come in behind us here, and he's a bonny horse, and you'd think there'd be a little bit more from him.
Yeah, and they were saying about Life of Riley and Flying Pursuit, 2 high profile horses. Life of Riley I think is off to the sales. Just the phrase Simon used was just so people can have a look at him. I think, does that mean if they get enough money then he'll
yeah
go?
I think the thing is with these syndicates, it's very difficult because obviously they're wanting to buy a new horse all the time, and the other thing is that you've got to sell horses really when you least want to, because that's when they're worth any money. And actually, for these people, syndicate owners, they've had a nice time with him. If you sell him, they make a bit of money out of him. They've got a bit of money to reinvest in other horses that could be as good, and they can keep a little bit as well, which is great. You know, that as long as they're all having fun, and they know he's a good, sound horse and he's honest. There's no point in giving him away for nothing at the sales. But if the right money comes, I'm sure they'll take it.
But because the syndicates, you need a lot of money to be able to spread about. But they can reinvest anywhere, like Million and Mine. So it's not about having the hard cash in your hand, is it? It's about getting the right price for the horse.
That's it, exactly as you say it is. It's the right price for the horse, and all horses have different values.
Yeah, they do. And Shallow Hal's worth a few quid more than he was 20 minutes ago. Carl Burke, another winner for him. The man who trains Lawrence, of course. And Clifford Lee claiming the £3, coming back for race number 2 here at Ponty.
Yeah, but he won't be claiming that £3 for too long now, Peter. He's moved to within 4 now of losing his claim outright. 1 to 3 favourites, Shallow Hal in the end. Carl Burke for the on to the winner at Syndicate. Usain Bolt was 6 lengths back in second at 7 to 1. There was a rule 4 though, deducting 15 pence in the pound after the withdrawal, after a number of attempts to get the horse in of the son of Equiano just later, who'd had 2 starts but didn't go through into stall 2 and was withdrawn.